Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Dino Times. I'm your host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. Now, this is a huge warning. We are going to be diving into the spoilers of Jurassic World Rebirth, as promised on multiple shows and whatnot on the channel. I am going to be diving in here, giving my full-on thoughts as a biologist, and also as a guy who works and volunteers in a paleo lab, and as well as a huge lifelong Jurassic fan. We're going to be diving into the episode, but fair warning, spoilers ahead. So what you should do, press pause, go watch the damn movie, and then come right back and then and see if you agree or disagree. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like in the video if you do enjoy, or dislike. And of course, be sure to leave a comment down below, everybody, of what you thought of the movie and whether or not you agree or disagree with me. I always am open to criticism, so let me know down below. All right, diving in here. What did I think of Jurassic World Rebirth? Well, I would say 9.9 out of 10. Controversial these days, I know, according to Rotten Tomatoes. But what I gotta say is a few good points here. And this is, of course, Dino Time, so we're, of course, going to talk about the science. We're going to talk about the action part of things as well, too. Jurassic World Rebirth, of course, coming back in a time where we thought we weren't going to get any more movies, to say the least here. And we have got more, starring Scarlett Johansson and a loaded cast, to say the least here. And, of course, we know not all of them are going to make it. In which, by the way, I should say, this movie teetered the line of what I thought Jurassic would do. There are scenes in here that are bloody, scenes in here where we see people get ripped, scenes in here where people get swallowed, scenes in here where people get destroyed. Like, it is insane to me on how wild they get with it. And I love it. As many of you know, I am an active zookeeper with crocodilians and, of course, as well as big megafauna, such as rhinos and such as well. So I got a little bit of background with these guys. And, of course, I do work in the paleo lab, volunteering there at least once a month. Work on stuff, and I've also worked in the museum for times before. Needless to say, I got a background with animals and wildlife, to say the least. And if you hear any wow, that is from my cat Pedro, who is in the room meowing during this recording. Thanks, Pay. He's giving me the death glare. All right, but of course, moving on. Sorry, Pay. The thing about it here is this movie, of course, had some drawbacks, which we will talk at the very end here, because, of course, I did enjoy the movie. And I run by the Kevin Smith rule. I'm going to talk about what I enjoy a lot more than what I'm not going to enjoy. Big thing being, I love the animal behavior in this movie. I'm not talking about the D-Rex, the mutant T-Rex, or the Mutodons, which we all talk about in a second. But I'm talking the Spinosaurus, Mosasaurus, T-Rex, Ankylosaurus, all that stuff. And, the herbivores and carnivores. Well, guess what, everybody? They felt like animals. Their designs may not be paleo accurate, but it's fine. But their design still looked paleo accurate enough, especially Spinosaurus. We were also told Spinosaurus was an amphibian. I think there may be some paleontologists who are like, what? Amphibian? Or just like aquatic reptile? Because you don't count a crocodilian as that. But besides the point, I still laughed at the fucking scene so far. It's amphibious! Run! Don't stop! And I'm like, y'all motherfucker, sorry. Y'all people, we don't try to cuss much on Dino Times. Y'all people better keep going. I went to the theater alone on this one here for the first viewing. I'm going to see it a few more times, but I just dying laughing because I'm like, yo, go, Joe, go, Joe, go. Like, go, G.I. Joe, go. Like, you got to run. And to see the animals, give up after a little bit of time. They're not, like, on a bloodthirsty thing in order to kill these people for the story. These animals are hunting. They're given reasons of why the animals are doing what they are doing, defending a nest, thinking of something as a threat, symbiotic relationship between species. All of that is there. And they're like, the oxygen in the air, dangerous to the, the sun rays aren't the same. The gravity's not the same. Like, the Earth itself is not the same what it once was. The oxygen levels are lower. Like, it is not a good time for dinosaurs. That's why they went near the equator, which, again, we're going to get into the lore about this a little bit here. If you do listen to me, I run the Lore Pod podcast. Stay tuned for a Lore Pod dump episode here coming up here. We're going to have to release that one pretty soon. But we're looking at it as, I want to see the movie a couple more times before I do that. We're looking at it as these animals, superbly large. Of course, they're going to the island for blood samples of the largest creatures. Mosasaur, Quetzalcoatlus, Titanosaurus. Perfect. There we go. Now, what are they doing? Trying to cure heart disease. Valid, noble shit right there. Valid, noble. And, of course, we are looking at it as, hey, we're trying to do this thing. We got some shady people there. We got whatever is going on. We're going to the experimental island, basically Area 51 of Jurassic Park. Granted, the tech seemed a little bit futuristic for the original park there, but I thought they were going to include that Jurassic World R&D was also part of this too. I might have missed that. I hope I didn't. But to say the least here, the animals were behaving like the animals should. Swimming, land, all of it. They're hunting, giving up because of larger carnivores there. All that shit. Migration patterns, mating patterns, all of it. The hide being too thick for a dart to go through because not a standard needle is going to go through a thing. That was beautiful there. The T-Rex giving up, playing with food because it's a carnivore. And let me tell you, as a crocodilian keeper, do it too. They will play with food. And I've seen lions do it and stuff as well. So get granted for that. And you look upon it as like, it's just so refreshing to see this. Also, granted, I will say there's a few animal species, Mosasaurus being one of them, that I have worked on in the Paleo Lab. So it is awesome to see these animals on the big screen in Jurassic film. Didn't think it would happen. Did not think it would happen at all. So that's really cool. So we're looking at that. We're also looking at the factor being, of course, the science with it there. A little flimsy, a little bit on the heart disease thing with the oxygen levels in the blood cells and whatnot too. I'm a trained human medic. I'm not a trained human doctor. So I don't know for sure on that one, as well as an animal medic. But I'm not trained for sure on that one. Whether or not that can work or not, let me know below if you're a doctor and can answer this question. So lore time a little bit here too. I do appreciate the fact being we're looking at the thing here. Things are electric. There's even a gas station there that was abandoned. And, of course, InGen is going to make people pay for their food. You really want an island, you gotta fucking still make money somehow, and it's gonna cost money to ship it in. They can't just ship it in like that. Like, I appreciated that. It probably made them feel like home a little bit, to be honest with you, shopping at like a gas station store or electric store. Also, too, I should have mentioned, there is a school bus, because we take place in New York City, where the last of the dinosaurs is around, the last sauropod in North America. And as a sauropod lover, my heart breaks, and I wanted to cry. But there is a school bus in there that says the Crichton Middle School. And they wrote, and I hope people understand, and there's a tribute to Michael Crichton in the end credits there, but the Crichton Middle School is from Michael Crichton, who wrote the first wrote Jurassic Park and created it, as well as The Lost World, Jurassic Park, which, again, you should read if you have never read it, because it is 99% different, or 90% different than the book. Moving on. We're looking at this factor here of, it just makes sense. You know, either the dinosaurs were going to take over all of our ecosystem, or our ecosystem would fight back against them. I loved it. Hint, Dr. Loomis, I love the character too. The character himself, I related to it as a scientist myself. I loved every second of it. Every damn second of it, because he was like commenting about nature and nature's going to screw us over, to the rich business guy who I had plenty of conversations with over the years with business people or whatever the hell. And they're like, we're going to win. We're people. And I'm like, listen, guy, I am a huge advocate for space. I'm studying space. I also studied nature the past almost half decade. I've worked one-on-one with wildlife, diseases, all this stuff. Let me tell you, we're done for it. Like, if nature says we're done, we're done. We don't control nothing on this planet at all. And it's very fun. I was laughing. So there is that. And also to see the survival story kick in here for a Jurassic movie. We don't have these in a long time. It's been genetics. It's been this. This is a mixture of Jurassic Park 3 and The Lost World, and I love every second of it. So we get lore expanded in here and a new world kind of thing of where we're at, and it makes sense. All the dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures are near the equator. They're on islands. They move there if they could, and then it's quarantine off in the public. Seeing museums falter made me sad, but also I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Now, we're also looking at the factor here too, of course, the acting. I thought the acting was great. I thought every person who was in their role felt like their role. As an old animal cop, I do want to say, well, a criminal investigator, I do want to say that I related to Zora and her friends the most on that ship. And I was laughing when other people weren't in my theater, which I thought was kind of funny. There was like some dark humor where I'm like, I have jokes about that in the Ambo Bay or the office when you get back here when you're doing paperwork. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I looked around in the theater and I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm alone in this. Oh no. So that was also interesting to say the least. I was like, oh well, this is written adult humor for somebody who's been through in the trenches for a little bit here. And Gareth Edwards, by the way, congratulations on capturing that humor, because I didn't think I'd laugh about that in a Jurassic film. I know some writer friends of mine do not love this movie at all, and maybe it's because it counted as biased, I guess, but I thought the writing in it was good. The Mutodons and the D-Rex, scary. The moment he slams an arm down on that Jeep and just roars with the lights at it, I about peed my. I was like, oh my fucking God, like, I'm going to pee. This is insane. And the Mutodons themselves, totally insane. A two-headed Triceratops, wild. Like, we see herbivores, we see carnivores. I see enough herbivores in there to make it an ecosystem, whether they're dead or alive bodies that we see. We also get to see, by the way, I should make it clear, no one's talking about this. We get to see prehistoric amphibians. Kulasuchus, I think, was in there. And it was either Kulasuchus or there, I couldn't quite tell for sure in some of the lighting on there. I got to see it again. But we see prehistoric, like, amphibian creatures like that, like Kulasuchus and the family. Like, come on. We see, and I'm drawing a blank on there, too. He was recently in Jurassic World Evolution, too. It's like a little reptilian bat with, like, a membrane wings. That's, for those laymen, that is a skin connected to the body sort of thing. And we see that. I'm like, this movie is chock full of prehistoric creatures. Like, InGen experimented like madness on this island. It was insane. And the fact being the Mosasaurus, they're like, the Mosasaurus is hunting and stuff, too. And the Spinosaurus, we should also clarify. I'm a huge Spinosaurus fan, in case you never knew. I love the creature. I love following its evolution and paleontology through the years. That insane. It looked paleo-accurate to a degree. Totally cool. Again, they paid tribute to it goes on land and then goes in the water. I would have loved to see more land action of that guy running through the forest. Well, he wouldn't be running. We know that. But he would be straddling through the forest. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know. Dr. David Hone. Comment down below if you're listening. So I just loved it. We got to see a lot of that. The Spinosaurus came back. We did not see a T-Rex v Spino fight again. And I'm okay with that. I am very okay with that because the Rex in this movie was playful. It was hunting. Clearly, by the way, I'm going to call it out now. That T-Rex did not have a blind sensitivity moment to him. I want to make that clear. I don't think the T-Rex could only sense. I think he had full sight. There's no way in hell that guy did what he did, even in the water. The water throw that eyesight off. So wild. Maybe that's like one of the why he was left in the island and genetic things there. Crazy with me here. So that's a little bit about the science there. Again, the movie-wise, I'm looking at characters. I love the characters. I love the writing here, too. The Snickers wrapper, I'm a little bit torn on that one again. I'm torn in the sense where the general audience may not know how easy it is for that stuff to happen. But as a guy working in hospitals, laboratories, and all the things like that, too, in zoos, a wrapper can be dangerous. As can be. And I want to make it clear. I know the technology is high, but also I want to make it clear, too. That means it's susceptible to a lot of stuff. And he said it was like 20 years ago and such. I loved it. I loved it so much there. And the negative drawbacks I have are, I think the boyfriend was a little too on the nose. I'm going to get into this now. I like the character. I think it was a little bit too on the nose. I really do. And this is me. I think that. And as I'm talking to you in this review, I'm kind of thinking the fact being how... I'm thinking of how I've met lots of people like that, though. And I'm kind of like, oh, no. Like, oh, no. Like, I'm like, yeah. And as a guy with a younger sister, I can tell you, too. Yeah. Dolores, by the way. Equalops. I did a video on Dino Times. Make sure you check it out for this, by the way, too. We did a video on Equalops, and loved every second of Dolores. And it didn't take 2 seconds for that thing, for the relationship to go. It took like 7 or 8 hours for the bonding to work and lots of treat. So the behavioralist watching this movie will get something out of that. Because it's like, nah, it's unlike Blue, like, well, the Blue's still fine. She's a carnivore. I made relationships with Crocs, and even I knew that I couldn't do certain things. But, like, come on. They're not going to fight for me and shit. Get out of here. Dolores said, bye, y'all. My name's Saul. And this is a version of it. In certain situations, I'm out. Like, I just left and then came back when it was kind of the same. Like, it was great. And I love that factor there, too. But the negative was the boyfriend there. I want to know why there was an Air Force helicopter there. Because the front had an partial Air Force logo showing, and they had dog tags. And that's how our businessman now, I'm drawing a blank on his name, he was able to get a gun. Now, what was that about? Was the Air Force called in? Were they part of an evac thing going on? What happened with this? Is this going to be a storyline we address later? Are we going to see the fall of this island? Because we saw a little bit of we didn't really see the fall. We just saw the chaos ensue and like containments open up, yada, yada, yada. Well, they lasted on for 30 years and the gun did work. And I will give it the gun worked, even though the gun realistically wouldn't work. And I say that, but the body wasn't 30 years decomposed. And we're also looking at the fact being that the gun still, minus the gun working technology, because we're looking at Jurassic World where the battery worked in a damn Jeep Wrangler from an off-road vehicle. But it was also a very modern Black Hawk helicopter, though. And also that business guy is dead because he just drank water from a decomposing body. But besides that, what happened with that? Like, what was there? Was it a patrol? What happened? And I want to know, like, the story of that helicopter. Because it's not InGen. It wasn't InGen. It was an Air Force. Like, what happened with that? I want to know. I want to say, too, I think I was thinking on the way home that it was a negative that the Lords went with them home, of course. But I'm thinking, dinosaurs are already on the mainland. What am I caring about? And they have Loomis there. Zora Bennett's there. Now, how did one guy survive the D-Rex? That is how I'm wondering, too. The D-Rex itself felt kaiju. He took down a helicopter. I'm not going to lie. I screamed almost when I saw the helicopter. Like, oh, the chopper's there. And I'm like, hell yeah. And then a D-Rex holding its mouth. I'm like, ah! This blew me away. A little bit of that there, too. So those are my little negatives. There was the boyfriend there, a little bit being too on the nose. The family thing felt kind of shoestringed in. I'm not going to lie, it did. But they did call them out. Bennett's friend there, Duncan, he called him out saying, you are a terrible human being. Like, you are a terrible. We did it times before. Was it times before with it? And you know there's dinosaurs and all that out there. There's a Dunkleotosis in here. There's a donkey. I always mispronounce the name. I'm not going to try to look it up and do that stuff right now. I love you guys, but no. There's a Dunkleotosis or donkey, and it just randomly dropped that son of a bitch in there. Are you kidding me? Really? Just dropping now and in there? Like, how many aquatic species were made in this? What is going on? Oh, I love every second of this. Every second. I love the boat design, too. The boat design is a guy who used to have to worry about this sort of thing. I love every second of that. A little sip of the drinky this there for this review. But this has been a long-winded review. But again, I love it. I love the quest design, defending the nest there. We saw Aztec ruins in a Jurassic movie, which is a tribute to that as well. Again, those are my only really negative reviews, might I add there. It's like we didn't know really about that. We didn't really see the fall of the island and the boyfriend. That's literally my negative reviews, is that. And everything else felt pretty legit. I was like, that's pretty good. And I want to think. The D-Rex had a lot of things to the Oh, Godzilla fans, don't kill me. I wrote a Godzilla, not a Godzilla, but a kaiju comic book back in the day. The mutant one from Godzilla 2014. Literally is that, but it's fine. I'll take the design. It works as a dinosaur, too. I'm willing to forgive Gareth for that. The designs, I think, again, we talked about it, all look good. T-Rex is nice to see a beefy T-Rex again. Not one that's skinny and old like the Jurassic World one. Granted, she's from the original park, so da-da-da-da. Raptor design, we didn't even see much of the raptors either, which was cool because we got loads amount of raptors in there in that movie. In the last three, we got loads of raptors are blue, but they kind of like raptors were there, da-da-da. And it's not bad at all. I enjoy that. I'm trying to think what else. Now the music. The music. In case you didn't know, there's a few pieces of music in the soundtrack here that is from Jurassic Park Operation Genesis from the early 2000s, a park builder game that I used to play on the old PC, PS2, and I think original Xbox had it too. I've been able to play it over the years. I do not have a current copy. I wish I did. My PC won't play it. I have a PS2 though, so maybe I can play it on that. But it was the precursor to Evolution, Jurassic World Evolution games. And the music in there is very iconic versions of Jurassic. And they put it into the movie. Come on. The T-Rex roar being different because it's a different type of Rex there. Perfect. Oh, I love every second of this. We're going to dive into the lore on a Lore Pod podcast soon. Yes. Cutting this one short because we're going a little bit longer than I thought I would have. That has been my Jurassic World Rebirth review here, everybody here. Let me know down below here. I can gush on about this film. I just saw it probably about an hour ago. Yeah. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think down below. Leave a comment if you choose to. And, of course, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more Dino Times, more media stuff in general with the Lore Pod podcast, and much, much more here on the YouTube channel. I've been your host, Dakota Morgan, everybody, and my social media is going to be in the description box down below as well. And you all rock, everybody. And remember, science is real.